Hello. Welcome, welcome. I am Dr. Patrice Berry. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, and we are live today. This will be my last video and stream of the year 2023. I don't know where the year went. I just want to give a shout out to Karen and also to Sarah and to everyone else that is watching and will watch on replay this year. So, today my plan is to just briefly touch on the Dr. Lewis case because that's really where a lot of you all found me with Dr. Lewis, Murdaugh, and then there have been a few other cases that and I'll go over my top videos of the year, and then we'll talk about what this channel is going to look like moving forward. Seriously, I did not plan for my channel to go in this direction. I've always loved psychology and I've always loved crime and law, and really, it was watching Emily D. Baker, Natalie Lawyer Chick, the lawyer Rob. It was watching all of them that I was like, I think I want to talk about it from a psychological perspective. So I really respect how they educate us on the law because I have no clue. So please, I have some my like thoughts because I've watched a lot of court cases, but I am not a legal expert. I do know a lot about psychology and criminal psych. So Dr. G explains he is a forensic psychologist, like looking at crime, like that's part of what he does for his work. I'm so the only time that I've gotten involved with court cases is if it was a court ordered evaluation for child protective services. So if they were involved in a case and if they needed the parents to be evaluated or if they needed the children to be evaluated, I've come in and I have done court testimony based on that. And that's where the video of Dr. Lewis, it really just perplexed me because I just could not with her. I could not with Dr. Lewis. Hey, SL Conley. Welcome, welcome, Allison. I hope you all had a great holiday. I hope you all have a good new year. Yay, you found me over with Natalie. And I do plan. So Natalie and I, we are trying to see if we can get together in the new year. And so we will definitely collaborate on something. We're not sure yet. There's not a specific video or specific topic, but I enjoyed, and it was really the chat. So that was how Natalie and I connected. So I was in the chat just doing my thing, just commenting. So I am naturally an overly helpful person. Okay. Like just naturally overly helpful. And so I was just in the chat and people were like Natalie, you should bring her up. Like y'all should connect. And she sent me a link. I ran upstairs, and so this is my studio area. It's in my office, and hopped on with her and had a blast. And her and I have scheduled a few other collaborations, but seriously, I thank you all. Nice. Comments and profile name. And I don't do that. So I like watching Emily D. Baker. Like I like watching these people, and people will have questions in the chat, and they are lawyers, and people will have questions about people's diagnosis or about mental health topics. So because they'll all set very firm boundaries that they really don't speak to the psychological part. And so that's where I truly appreciate it. Welcome, welcome to the Psych Nerd crew. Welcome. Thank you for that. All right. So, okay. So, and I have to tell y'all, so it was a client. So, one of my clients was like, hey, because we were both watching the Johnny Depp trial. It just so happened to come up. Somehow it came up and they were like, you have to check out Emily D. Baker. And so when clients give recommendations like that, I really do it. So if somebody's like, "Hey, check out this video on TikTok. This was really helpful for me." But they were just like, "Hey, the only way I'm making it through this trial," because before that I was watching on, pretty sure it was Law and Crime. So Law and Crime is the one that would come up. But that has just been so did I hate testifying in court? The hardest times for me to testify in court was when it was about somebody's parental rights. So if DSS was looking to terminate parental rights, and if there was evidence that the person hadn't followed through with whatever recommendations I made in the psychological evaluation. So, something I do as a clinical psychologist, so I don't do parenting capacity evaluations, which is really what I hope that the Frankies, that Kevin Frankie, I hope that they evaluate his parenting style and the way that he manages stress with his kids. I do hope that they look at that, and that's something that can be ordered through the court process. I don't do those. I just do general psych evals where we're looking at, is there a mental health diagnosis, and if there is, what are the treatment recommendations? And even if DSS pays for the evaluation, I always offer to go over the report with the individual before sending it anywhere. Because if I was in their shoes, I would want to be treated like a human. I would want somebody, because there's not really the same confidentiality. Now, technically, if they did the whole eval and they were like, I don't want you to share it, then we would have to go to court. The judge would always order me to share it, but that's never happened where somebody has done the evaluation and said, "I don't want you to share it." But I try to humanize the process because it can be a very dehumanizing process. Like, because I'm working with people as they have either lost custody of their children, they're trying to work towards regaining that custody, or there's something going on in their lives. I've also assessed the children. So I have been a treatment provider for children and had to testify in court based on things the child said, and these were DSS custody cases. I have also testified in family court and just with just clients that are having some marital issues or something, or if there are custody issues. I've testified with that too. Testifying, what it does is it can mess up the therapeutic relationship. So if I'm going to continue to meet with this client, sometimes testifying in court can mess with that. But Dr. Lewis's son's Emily's ADHD and mine are comparable. Really, it was watching some of the other streamers that I was really like, "Oh my gosh." So, there have been some hints and signs that I have ADHD for a very, very long time, but, like, there was some I was like, "Oh," like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people that stream, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have ADHD. The thing that works great for streaming and having a little ADHD is that it's always different. So when I got on, I didn't know that I was gonna kinda go down this way, and so that is interesting to me. So I am going to continue to record videos and not go live and post those. Sometimes I will premiere those and be able to give commentary, like be able to comment as we're watching it. But I my favorite is going live because when I edit my own videos, so I don't have an editor, so I do all of this for the channel myself. When I go back and edit it, sometimes I will overthink, like, oh, I wish I had said it this way, or I'll have little things. And but it's funny because sometimes I'll catch myself. So in one of the last videos I did, I was talking about 2024, and for some reason, I'm sorry, y'all. I almost went back to 2020, and I'm my bad. For some reason, I said 2020. I hate editing, so I like control. So that's why I edit my own. Because if I paid someone to do it, I would hope that they would do it to the standard that I want. But like, I like, and sometimes I get embarrassed about some of the mistakes, or and it's fine, but like I like to be honest about that. So when I record a video, I will restate something, or I would have to watch the video and tell them to cut. So it's just easier for me to do it. That's what I do right now. The overthinking, yes. So I really do that. So 2020, so that's when I wrote my book. Some of y'all might not. So turning crisis into clarity, how to survive or thrive in the midst of uncertainty. So I'm one of those weird people where 2020 was actually it's weird, but it's true. It was one of the best years for me because like I didn't have to go places and I was able to just rest. So and I was in a luxury position, so I was doing mental health. Mental health all went online, and I still was able to go to the office. My child stayed in daycare for the most of it. I think we were only home all of 2020 to maybe 2022. I think we were only home for maybe a month and a half, maybe. And when I was home, I was very cautious of, like I had a lot of empathy for the clients I was working with, and, like, their kids were in the back 'cause and so, I like telehealth, so I would have never done telehealth if it wasn't 2020, and if it wasn't for 2020, I would have never started YouTube, I don't think. And, because that gave me an opportunity to leave my other position. Yes, the links are right on my channel. It's on Amazon. If you search Dr. Patrice Berry, Turning Crisis into Clarity, it should come right up. It's in Audible, Kindle, and paperback, and I recorded the Audible myself. I look at it like a resource, and it's broken down into 2 parts. Part 1 is survival. Let's just survive. Let's just get through it. And then part 2 is thriving. It's a pretty short, so it's not like a huge and people have talked about the lighting is gonna. I can't show you the words. Oy, there we go. So it's not. It's a super easy read, I think, and the goal is to just give somebody a foundation that they can build off of. And so, yeah, one of my colleagues in the county solicitor's office whoa, oh gosh, wow, oh, was hurt. Wow, gosh. So thankfully, I've had a client threaten to harm me with a knife, and there was a parent in the home. So this was back when I did home-based therapy, and I just went and got the parent, and the parent it wasn't a big deal. Um and I say that because I had kind of become desensitized in a way. So I've worked with individuals that are trying to get reactions. They want me to be afraid of them because it's a big protective measure for them. Now I do things to keep myself safe. So if you ever notice, often with your first meeting with a therapist, most therapists are going to face so that so that the door is right behind them. Some therapists have buttons that they can push if there's an emergency. And if I'm kind of not sure about someone, I will schedule them on certain days when I know that I have like extra support or that I have backup. And I have terminated a case because I wasn't comfortable with it and something seemed off. I really thought they would do better with with a male therapist and not a female therapist, and I ended up referring that individual out, but yeah. Oh, thank you, thank you. And so, yeah, so I and it was really it came out of the pandemic, and, I have some videos on I have some videos on my channel. I think there might be a playlist called My Book or something. There's probably a playlist that has different resources and different things that I've said about it. But all right, so let's dive right in first to Dr. Lewis. Okay. Hoy. So, y'all, Dr. Lewis, and I have a new format. It's this one. Yeah. Dr. Lewis, why? Oh, because the book, it's always like right behind me. That's on purpose. That's not. Let me connect my headphones and then make sure that they stay connected the right way. So, oh, and no earrings today. I'm sorry, y'all. I know that y'all like the earrings. Let me make sure that my audio stayed. Yes, mic here. Good. So we should be good. All right. So we're just going to play a little bit of Dr. Lewis, and this is I'll have to check my channel in just a second. This is one of the top videos, if not the top video on my channel. Response afterwards, cleaning everything up and misdirecting everything and traveling with the body, all of those things, to me, those were all efforts to cover the crime. That's just my opinion from what I've seen. This was so hard to watch. I'm gonna try to keep going.
Unresponsive?
Well,
Saying, if you can relate what Maria told you, I think was the question, that's what you need to do.
And no, so let me rephrase that then, Dr. Lewis. If you can't recall the exact specifics of what she said, what can you recall about the way in which she was presenting?
yes, I can't recall the exact specifics because it is disorganized and confused and difficult to remember.
But she didn't present that way in any of the other evaluations.
But I recall her kind of reassociating all over, and she talks about her grandmother and family shooting things out the window and always needed people to guard funerals. That it had a chaotic quality, and it happened shortly after, as I recall.
Okay, so I think y'all tell me how soon. I think she had a documentary that came out around the time that she did this evaluation. I want to say that there was a documentary that came out. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. And it seemed like this was self-promotion a little bit. Now, I think she is interested in high-profile cases where she believes dissociative identity disorder is a diagnosis. My big problem with this is the way that dissociative identity disorder presents. She seemed to ignore all the evidence that didn't fit into dissociative identity disorder. Like, she just completely ignored everything. Talk about confirmation bias. Like she just and then there were major issues. So do y'all remember I started this video with the fact she was not licensed in the state. So I can't go to North Carolina and meet with a client and testify in court on behalf of that client. So that client could come to Virginia. And then, like, even for me to testify in court in North Carolina, they would have to make sure that that court would honor my Virginia license because I'm not licensed in North Carolina. And she tried to say that she had reciprocity, but no, like you can't just practice across state lines without getting approval from the board. Like it just and her son was in the room. Leticia, her lawyer was in the room, like all the things that could possibly go wrong. Like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Everything. Let me play. So I think she was just pausing to talk. I could be wrong.
Shortly after I became aware.
She's just talking with her hand and she's trying to talk.
Of her seeming to move into her Maria persona and her.
And there's going to be video of that. Today is Wednesday, May 3rd, and there's going to be video of that coming out later today. I am going to move ahead a little bit to the cross.
The accurate. So
the funniest thing about this video being one of the top videos, so I recorded this just in my office because I was like, I just need to talk about this case. So I had a break in my day and I recorded it there. I don't think it was live. I think it was uploaded. I'm pretty sure that it was an uploaded video. And it got to a point where I was just like, I'm done. I can't. Like I could not watch any more of her testimony. And she was the first expert that I let my personality come out, and then y'all loved it. So normally I wouldn't, before Dr. Lewis, if somebody was saying something that was a little off, like my face might change, but I was like, there were parts where I was literally trying to not pull out my hair because that was how just messed up all of that was. And so she wasn't licensed in that state. So the only state that could maybe do something is the state where she is licensed. And they're likely not gonna do anything. Like it would be up to the board for the state where she was. So the only thing that could happen is that state could potentially say you cannot practice in this state without a license. But it made her look less credible. Okay? It totally, I think, made her look less credible, and yes. So, yeah, so I don't know if you're talking about me. So I have been the documentary came out in 2020. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. But she seemed to be promoting her expertise, her book, the other high profile cases that she had worked, and it was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And I'm so glad that y'all honor that. So there are people that leave mean comments, okay? So like 95% of people. Now there are the people that'll go in the comments and be like, "How do you call yourself a therapist?" I don't know, like there are people and I just delete those. There was one comment, oh my, like y'all got to it before I got to it and I left it up there because some people shared their thoughts. You never have to defend, but like if you never have to defend me in the comments. If somebody leaves a ridiculous comment, I normally just delete it. Okay. And people are able to have their opinion. So there are people that think therapists shouldn't talk about these situations at all. Now, my thing is if you really do not like the video, do not comment. Like, do not like your engagement boosts my video. So I'm like, thanks. Like, why would you comment on a video you don't like? YouTube is gonna show you my face more. Like it doesn't know that you left a comment that you didn't like. Like even if you press the even if you give it a thumbs down, but you still watched the whole video and you still commented on it, they're gonna send you more of that. And so uh thank you, yeah, and so people really just stood up for it and it was fine. Hey, hey, thank you. I appreciate it. You were the one that realized that I re-dyed the blonde. So it will start to grow out and then it'll magically go blonde again. So this testimony, no, like it was, and it seemed like she kind of threw it together. So it's my understanding that she dictated her report. And even up until court and up until trial, it seemed like she was kind of rushing and throwing it together. It did not seem like it was planned out. Like it just came across bad. And the jury did not buy a single word of it. Not a single word. It went on for days. Do you remember? Like, it was so long. It was so long. Now, I don't think that she has dementia. Does that because some people were getting mean. Some people were talking about thinking she had memory issues and because I think she was just very stuck on wanting the answers to come across a certain way because she would contradict herself based on how the question was asked and the prosecution they they really drove it home because when an expert won't admit that hey wouldn't it be more likely that somebody that with dissociative identity disorder that they would not like clean up the crime and that they wouldn't carry on this facade because a true expert would say that is possible because then you leave it to the defense to come back and say, well, what do you think was happening in this case? And that's where like you wait until cross. So she was not answering anything to say that there was any other possibility because it was like, what if she could she have just lied? Like I'm pretty sure the prosecutor was like, couldn't she just be lying? And like at one point in the video, Dr. Lewis is like, "Do you think that Maria was like she's giving her suggestions?" And 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 Leticia is like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's what happened." It was by far one of the oddest things. And what some people have said is that she doesn't work with a lot of female, so, like, a lot of the people that she assessed, I think, were males, and but it just seemed like it was easy to manipulate Dr. Lewis. So when you're a forensic psychologist or when you're a forensic psychiatrist, you have to keep this, and even if you're a therapist at all, you have to be open to the idea that somebody might be lying to you. Like they could be. Like they could be. And so it ends up being a mess. Uh, wait a minute. I would love I do have merch. So it's Psych Nerd. So I do. It should be right on the channel. So I have t-shirts, and the mug didn't turn out right. I tried to do the mug and it didn't I didn't like the mug. So I didn't the mug isn't so what I buy all the products to make sure it looks right. All right. So I do. um And really, it was y'all that even helped me pick the Psych Nerd. So Care Berries has a and maybe next Christmas I might release like a special Care Berries mug or something, because I really do think we care. And I just imagine like psych words coming out of our chests, like we care. Like I used to watch the Care Bears. I love the Care Bears and Care Berries. I thought that was cute. I got some feedback from some other people that Psych Nerds, just branding wise, seem to work better. But yeah, I also y'all my if y'all look for my Natalia Grace, that video got taken down because one of the pictures in the video, the original family that adopted her from another country, they, I guess, registered a copyright for that picture, and so the whole video got taken down. Um, I could probably reach out to them, but I'm thinking they probably want money, and I'm not like, it wasn't that serious. If you saw the video, you saw the video. Like, it was so, yeah. So I had for about 2 minutes, there was a video that is, I guess, they filed a copyright with the US, I don't know, like, they filed a copyright, and so, I did not have permission to use that picture, and so I would think it would fall under fair, but, like, no, I'm not even gonna, like, because they did the copyright strike, I have to reach out to them to get them to take it down, and I don't it's not even that serious. I don't even think the video did that well. I think they just look at every video that has her name in it, and then they check to make sure that that picture isn't in it. Or the algorithm, they're able to file it, and the algorithm is able to flag any, because they do hold the copyright for that image, and so, my bad, but all right, let's any other questions or comments about Dr. Lewis? And thank y'all to everyone that, reached out afterwards, um, and thank you, because Karen did a great video on, like, how to avoid copyright stuff. I obviously I did not I did something wrong because but it's not that serious. I could, if I still have the original footage, and so, like, and that's where, like, if I had just posted the video and if it hadn't really been seen by that many people, I might have worried about it, but, like, it had been up for almost a month, and so it is what it is. Alright. Let's move on to Alexi, because that is the second top video on this channel, and this was the girl that was in that hideous case, absolute hideous case, trigger warnings for for childhood harm, because she likely knew that she was pregnant. People have seen pictures of her as a cheerleader, and she went to her prom, she went to her graduation. I believe she's at college now. A lot of people made a big fuss over that. Her court date is not until 2024. Like, we're talking, let me see if I can go back to that. Her court date is, like, July. She has, like, preliminary hearing in July, and her trial starts in ooh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Her trial happens in August of 2024. Really, really sad case. And so the hard thing with just removing that section of the video is that I was talking. So I was talking during that period, and so I might be able to edit the video and, like, cover the image, because what it is it's an image. So it wasn't a video that I played, it was just a picture. So as I was talking, there was, like, a picture, and, if I just cover the picture, it's just I don't know that I care that much. Like, I don't y'all, it doesn't take much. Um I love questions. Dr. Lewis didn't get the implications when she answered, yes, when we opened our DID clinic, the percentage of people in New York that had DID increased. And so dissociative identity disorder, I have met I think two individuals that legit had that diagnosis. I have worked with other people that had borderline features or that had autism, and it wasn't that they had different parts of them. It was that they would talk about they had a like. So we talked about this with the um. Oh my gosh, y'all know me in names. I was doing so good until this name. The case I just did, it was Dee Dee and her daughter's name. She was just released, Gypsy Rose. So the boyfriend Nick, he's on the autism spectrum, and he described having this part of him that wanted to, like, harm people. And, that was I only saw that because 'cause I've watched some other videos on him, and I just saw that in one place. So, I don't know if that's what he told the police. I also think he would have said anything to try to protect Gypsy. Like, that's just I think he felt he was in love with her, and I think he would have said or done anything for her to not be in trouble. He probably has some regrets looking back, I think so, especially with him spending the rest of his life without the possibility of parole. He is appealing that. But some people will talk about having these parts of them. There is a type of therapy, internal family systems, that if individuals do have dissociative identity disorder, but also people with trauma, people with a lot of other things. So there's a part of me that loves waking up in the morning. And then there's another part that's like, no, I don't want to wake up in the morning. And if I'm working with a client that maybe is having thoughts of if I'm working with a client that has thoughts of unaliving themselves, I will sometimes talk about the part of them that wants to live. And then we'll also talk about the part of them that's struggling and just give voice to that and validate and honor that. But we try to make the voice louder, the part of them that does want to live, that it doesn't have to be all or nothing, that we can have different parts of ourselves. Yes, go to John. Gypsy Rose. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Nick, go to John. Nicholas, go to John. No, thank Blue Knight. Oh my gosh. So thank you. Thank you. So that is my goal. Okay. So I started this channel. So my goal, I wanted to be like the Psych to go, or like I wanted to be a resource for mental health tools. So what I do instead is, like, we cover crimes and y'all accidentally learn a whole bunch about mental health. Like, that's my new mission on here, to reach people that, like, would never want to really or, like, they're not seeking information on depression, but we cover a case where somebody was severely depressed, especially the family annihilators, I think that's the word, yeah, where it's, like, the parent that does either, where they harm their children or they harm their family and themselves. I really like talking about treatment because I think we have to normalize mental health. Mental health is health. We all have mental health. So, like, there's mental illness. So, like, mental illness is when it starts to get to the point where it's in your way, and, like, just like physical illness. So right now, I'm not sick. I don't have a physical illness. But if my son, because he goes to school, he can give me a cold and I can have a physical illness that I have to monitor. And if it starts to get too bad, if my fever lasts for too long, I need to go and get help and support. And I didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't because I lacked faith, or it wasn't any of those things for why I got help and support. Nice. And so thank you for shouting out. Oh, is very helpful. Cool. All right. So y'all are going back and forth. I'm just gonna, because sometimes, ooh, CBT and DBT. Yes. So I love dialectical behavior therapy, and I have talked about that other places on this channel. All right. Ray, hey, you don't know how many times I've talked about cases in therapy. Yes. Because like you really can learn things from these. And like, it was no lie, the Amber Heard trial, and I did do a video on, the experts, the psychology experts in the Amber Heard trial. Unfortunately, it was before I kinda knew what I was doing here, so I wasn't reacting to videos, I was just kinda talking about it, but I did that. Alright. Y'all are the best. So, I will be following whenever the, Alexi case, whenever that heads to court. I know she also sued the hospital, which was ridiculous because she did everything she could to hide her pregnancy. And even if it was just a whole mess. And that was, I think, one of the first times, because one of you all asked me to talk about her mom, because her mom just came off very controlling, very because even when her mom found out, she didn't ask like what was the gender, like mom didn't ask the type of questions that you might think a parent in that situation might ask of their child, to the point where the doctor was kind of like, hey, we just need to get her stable medically right now, and then we can kind of go from there. And so this is another one that is doing well on the channel right now. All right. Y'all are the best. Oh, thank you, Annie. Thank you for being a psych nerd and for supporting. Let me know if there are any issues. So I use Teespring. I want to say it's Teespring when I order through and so like it should, but like always reach out if anything isn't right. I have a new email address. It is info@drpatriceberry.com. So info@drpatriceberry.com. And my general website is drpatriceberry.com. I realized that my website, if you went to the contact us, it went into oblivion. Like it didn't go anywhere. I had to reach out to my web designer and I was like, what what happened? Like when I fill out the contact us, nothing happens. And so and I'll be making some updates to the website over during that time. Ah, Depp v. Heard trial is a treasure. So Dr. Curry was, no lie, my favorite expert, and she lives, so because I live in Virginia, and I believe her practice is in Northern Virginia, and like I just have so much respect for her. Uh, Dr. Spiegel is down in Virginia Beach. I used to live down in that area. I last time I checked, I believe he worked for one of the large hospitals down there. And his testimony was so before Dr. Lewis, Dr. Spiegel's testimony was some of the worst I had ever seen. And then Dr. Lewis, because Dr. Spiegel, unfortunately, got on the stand and I think he was nervous and like it was odd. It was very, very odd. I'm a psychologist and I was looking back like, ooh, like this is not good. And things that I do when I'm going to testify in a court case, so I try to ground myself by doing breathing exercises before. There was a lot of court coverage of this case, And if someone did well, because like I'm sure Dr. Curry probably got a lot of business from her exposure with the Amber Heard case. The other two experts, I don't know how their testimony. So the expert, I want to say she was from New York. I don't know. Don't get me wrong if she wasn't. But the expert that talked about intimate partner violence, she ended up. So I have a little visitor. Yes, yes. What do you need? So I'm doing a video, so you just have to stay on that side, okay? Quietly. I'm gonna have an audience over here. So you have to stay on that side, okay? I have a 6-year-old and it's a Saturday. He is out of school, and I normally do videos during quiet time. So it is between 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays or Sundays. Sometimes that is when I go live. But I know that comment was about that. I'm just catching up on the comments. Dr. Curry was amazing. Oh, whoa. Did she move to California? Did she? Because so I believe she was in Virginia. Wait a minute, because I thought she was Virginia, but I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was Alexandria, Virginia. Oh, so correct. My bad. I don't know why I thought it was Virginia. Maybe they used the office that was in Virginia because I thought they talked about Alexandria or something, but maybe they didn't. Yes, and the other lady was from New York. Miss Hughes, Dr. Hughes. Sarah added a little something extra. Dr. Hughes, her face was pretty intense. I would say yes. The trial was in Virginia because it was right up in Northern Virginia. So I love getting to parent on stream because this is how I talk to him all the time. Now my voice would get a lot firmer, so it is my husband's so we are not comfortable with our 6-year-old being on my social media. My husband, I don't think he watches my video. I don't think his videos showed up. One of my videos showed up in his algorithm, and I was like, how did that happen? But yes, okay. And so it was really the Johnny Depp trial that I started getting into watching LawTube. I don't know what I was doing before that. Like I don't know what I was doing. Maybe I was watching Amazing Race. I don't know what I was doing, but my algorithm is all like LawTube now. So the Amazing Race. If you're gonna stay inside, this is warning number 2, okay? Okay, once I get to 3, you'll get to go back to your room, okay? Alright? Thank you. I know y'all love it. I know y'all love it. Hey, member of the jury, welcome, welcome. Alright, so Shanda Vander Ark. Hi. Hi. So they are, both her and, Paul. So her son's name is Paul. I haven't done a video since maybe I did. Y'all, the last few weeks have flown by. Like where did December go? I don't know where December went. I think I maybe did a video or I shared a video, excuse me, of Paul pleading guilty to felony child harm. And I say harm and not the real word because sometimes the algorithm picks up certain words. Her case is truly one of the darkest ones, and it really is sad. Well, and then you until you get to reading Jodi Hildebrandt's her what she admitted to. The whole okay, trigger warnings. The whole making RF jump into a cactus multiple like, uh, I'm so glad that those 2 children survived. They were probably close, because based on the level of medical care that they needed and everything, I think they were in dire. I think it was bad. I think it was really, really bad. I did not expect Jodi Hildebrandt to plead guilty. I think there was so much evidence. I think there was no way that she was gonna get away with it, and I don't think she wanted the public trial. So all they had was the public arraignment, and they had the public this whatever the them entering their plea agreement. Those were the only 2 court dates, public ones that they had. I don't think Jody wanted, a public trial. That was that was not gonna be good. I think her name is already appropriately ruined. Excuse me. I do hope that connections, that people look into who she trained, because she trained people to do her program, and in my opinion, the program does harm, and so, uh, ah so I was surprised. So Jody looks so bad at her at her hearing. Ruby looked like fresh. I don't know if they let her like get her make. I don't know, like Ruby looked like, I don't know. Ruby not like perk, but Ruby looked okay. Jody Jody. Ugh. And yeah, she looked terrified and embarrassed. Yes, I watched Dr. G's video um covering that. And um before YouTube, I watched a lot of documentaries. Yes. Then I started watching the actual court trials. So I loved watching the actual court trials. So Jonathan Majors, he just had a major court hearing he was charged with 4 misdemeanors. And a lot of the news coverage, so there's a lot of clickbait. So the news coverage said he was found guilty of harassment and assault. Like that was the title. But if you click on the article, you found he was actually found not guilty of intentionally causing like the harm. And like he was found not guilty of 2 of the charges. And there were some YouTube, because that trial wasn't televised. And I watched some YouTubers that went and like took notes and then reported on what was happening in it. And like their coverage was so much more balanced than what the news media was putting out there. And I think that headline, so okay, so there are a lot of rumors. So some people think that Marvel, they were probably already going to drop the Kang dynasty, like that whole multiverse, like the whole Kang thing, that it was at the end of Loki, and then also in Ant-Man 2, I believe. And those 2 movies, or the like that TV show and the movie, it seemed like they were going to move away from that anyway. And this, like, they were able to like not fulfill his contract, which has probably cost him millions. um, I love Natalie Lawyer Chick talked about the text messages that came into the trial, and how Jonathan Major's lawyer, like, because those text messages were not going to come in. The lawyer said something that made it so that those text messages could come in. And then once the jury heard those text messages, it was they couldn't unhear it. So they weren't supposed to base their decision on any, but like Natalie's theory was, once they heard those text messages, it seemed like there had been some type of harm in the relationship in the past, and they found him guilty of something. And so it was a mess. All right. Let's see. Okay, so Shanda Vander Ark, we will see what happens with her sentencing. I do hope that the judge comes down strong on her, and that they and me and Dr. G. So oh no, Dr. Grande. Sorry, my bad. That's the other one. So Dr. G explains. That's a different person. So Dr. Grande, uh, his style is, I'm being political. So I watch his videos. His style is snarky to me, and his like so I think he has a dark sense of humor. I do too. It just comes off different. And uh, so I never want to make fun, and I hope it never comes across that way, that I'm making fun of Shanda. Does that make like I am telling facts of like what she did, what she said, according to everything that was done, and my thoughts on any possible mental health stuff, my opinions on that. I don't want to make light of her and the harm that she did. That's my style, okay? Like he has a million. Like he's on his way to 2 million. Like he's doing great. Dr. Grande is doing great. It's not my particular style. So I like Dr. G. So if Dr. G explains, his style is very similar to mine, where you are explaining something, you are breaking down mental health topics in a way that is accessible and that hopefully helps promote people, being more open to talking with a therapist and accessing mental health services. So I'm gonna Dr. G, yes, 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 yes. All right. We need a name for the collective of mental health professionals like you. So is it like PsychTube, like psychology? I don't know, because it's definitely LawTube. And then is it like there? I don't know. If y'all find it, please let me know. I don't, I don't, because a lot of y'all like law. So I wanted to get on PsychTube, like just talking about anxiety or just talking about depression. Like I wasn't able to break the ooh, psych portrayals. I like that sounds like a TV show or something. Psych portrayals. Okay. You thought people were talking about Dr. Grande. No, so Dr. G explains. He covers body language. And if you go on my channel, I have some let me see, let me share this part. Uh so here is my page. If you are looking for my links are right here. So there are links to Instagram, TikTok. I have some Amazon favorites. It's like books. If you like book resources and if you want to shop local, please shop local. Okay. Amazon, they just make it easy for me to put my recommended books there. I have my site and a link tree. And you have until 3:15, remember? So you just go on ahead and go finish quiet time in there, okay? Why? Why? Yeah, okay. Okay. You're doing great. I'm almost done. I'll when I'm done, I'll come down or you can go talk with Dada, okay? So if you want to go but no video game until 3:15, okay? Yes. But no video game until 3:15.
And guess what?
So
At the one time, me if I could come down early, and I said yes.
okay. All right. And so these are so YouTube now has a for you section. And so based on your algorithm, it will recommend certain videos for you. This is where, so y'all, the Dr. Lewis. So I did not like Dr. Lewis's testimony. Okay. I did not like it. And that is the top video on my channel. And then Hannah Payne, Harley's testimony. I thought Harley was pretty brave for the testimony that she gave. I have a playlist with all the court and law stuff. I do some entertainment stuff, live streams, blah blah blah. I'm trying to get to the bottom. Here we go. Psych nerds might also like these channels. So Natalie Lawyer Chick, Dr. G Explains, Behavioral Arts, Grizzly True Crime, Emily D. Baker, Law and Lumber, The Lawyer You Know. So I have some additional channels that you all might like down there. Wow. Okay. Let me undo this one. Thank you. So I I can be a workaholic, okay? So when people are like, "How do you do all of these things all at once?" So I never want my child to think that YouTube is worth more than him. Does that make sense? Like, or that, for him, and he might still like that between him and his therapist. Like, I'll get him a good therapist, but I want for him to know that, like, hey, you can come in, but there's a boundary, and if you don't follow that boundary, I'm gonna politely give you some other options. That's that's the nice way. Ooh, psychology tube. Nice. Uh, this channel is for my favorite all things mentally related. Nice. Everybody loves Dr. G. Dr. G is phenomenal. All right, catching up. I did feel very bad for Harley. Thankfully, she wasn't included in any. So, like, if her mom had told her what she did, I don't know if she might have went along with it. Does that like, if her mom was covering it up, I don't know that she had the independence to not protect her mom. Like, I don't know. But, I think her mom knew that she could possibly lose Harley because Harley loved, Gannon. And so her mom probably knew that there was a chance that Harley might choose someone else because Letitia she wasn't nice. Like she seemed like she was mean and nasty and she would like drag people all over the place. And um so are you talking about Spidey? Talking about Spidey? Because I believe he is in Canada. You're talking about somebody else. All right. Ah, Duty Ron, yes, had Dr. G on. So I just found Duty Ron. I did sub over there, and I have enjoyed Duty Ron's channel. He's a retired New York police officer, and Karen, I also saw him on your channel too, I believe. So manipulative. She was so manipulative, but like But she didn't really hide like, you could tell she was being manipulative. Does that make sense? So, like, my child so right there, he wanted my attention. Like, he was trying to get my attention, and, if he had brought, like, a game, if he had the iPad to play on, he would have stayed in here quietly. I'm trying to give him a screen break. It's winter break, and so he's had a lot of screen time, and so I'm giving him a little screen break until a little bit later, and also encouraging him to play and uh, use his brain. Yes. All right. Um, so So y'all can put brains in the chat. So if y'all are, and I forget if this was your idea, please like remind me that it was you, but somebody recommended like because I think people do like purple hearts for Emily D. Baker, people do chicks for Natalie, for Grizzly True Crime, people do little grizzly bears, and so we do brains in the chat. So if y'all see me in the chat on someone else's channel, just drop those brains and yes. And that's what we'll do there. Um, I do hope that so in watching all of these like crime shows and everything's like the technology that's available. So the Murdaugh trial, and there is a chance that he might get a new trial. Becky. I'm sure y'all already heard Becky's book was taken off of the market because she admitted to plagiarizing a reporter's article, a BBC reporter's article without appropriately giving the individual credit. And like Becky, oh, and she might have messed it up. She really might have messed it up. I do still think that Murdaugh being tried again, I do hope Is it Clayton? Is he the Waters, Clayton Waters? I'm bad with names. So I hope the prosecutor would be brief. So to me, the prosecutor went on, and he would like the point was made an hour ago, and he would still be trying to make this the same point. I hope that he would get a little bit more brief, because it was a little hard to follow at times. So I hope that he watches how the last trial went. I do not think Murdaugh would testify again. I do not think. But what jury didn't see the first one? Like, how are they going to find it? So my husband didn't. Like, like they have to find an engineer that like doesn't like crime, or like that doesn't watch this stuff. Who didn't see it? Like, I think they're gonna have trouble finding people that truly didn't see it. And I do hope that people wouldn't say they didn't see it, and just to be on, like, people have to be truthful and say if they saw it or not. But there's a chance. People on Mars. Oh, sorry, my bad. All right. And so I don't know. So I deleted my Snapchat. If you're talking to me, if you're talking to somebody else, no worries. Oh, yes. Talking about the Snapchat video from that case. So I don't so I'm on Threads. I have no clue what I'm doing. I am on X, Twitter. I have no clue what I'm like. I probably post like one tweet a month, maybe. I don't know what I'm doing on Threads, or I post maybe a video every 1 to 2 weeks on TikTok. I post maybe about the same on Insta here. Like, this is where I show up the most. And so so the co-author pulled down the video, and I'm sorry, not the video. The co-author pulled down the book and released a statement, and it was a mess. So Becky Hill's co-author, it was such a mess. Oh, your teen got in trouble for plagiarism. So in my book, so I talk about dialectical behavior therapy. So every section has I have references, because there are people that y'all know this. Here we go. So I have references. Whoopsie, there we go. Because there are people that it wasn't my original idea. So when I talk about I don't think I talked about polyvagal theory, but if I did, whenever I talk about certain topics within the book, I wasn't the one that came up with that idea. I try to credit the people that originated certain ideas. There are things in the book that are mine, or how I put it together, but it's so easy to cite sources. It's just easy, or to get permission to use parts of it, but it's a mess. She tried to blame it on the fact that she was busy and the deadline was coming up, and she cut a corner, because she admitted it. She was like, yeah, I did it. And she reached out and apologized to the co-author. No, apologized to the BBC person. And the co-author found it because he was just going through emails, and he was just going through stuff, and that's how he found it. Ugh, that's a mess. And so if for anyone that because Karen mentioned like safety with kids online, there is somebody, and I might so her channel is Cyber Farida. She talks about child safety. Her and I did a joint live a while back. And her whole mission is talking about protecting kids online, and those kinds of things. So, ooh, I just got flashbacks to my dissertation. So, there were some easy sites. Like I might have used some of those. Like you put it in, and they spit out the reference for you. I'm just being, what deadline they self-publish? Dominique, stop being rational. Stop being rational. So that was her excuse. That's what she said. That is what she said. It's so easy to cite your sources. I agree. I I like Dr. G explained my favorite. Oh, I hadn't read it yet. Thank you, Phoenix. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So uh, maybe so I wonder if he went back to look at stuff after like she might have misused her position. Like those are the allegations. She hasn't been charged with anything, but there are some ethics complaints out there that she might have not followed the rules, I guess. So I wonder if he was kind of suspicious about that and went back. You telling me to breathe? Stop it. Probably. Okay. Citation. Ooh, if that's one. I forgot which one I used. I honestly don't remember. And now that there's I wonder if ChatGPT does like a good job with citations. I don't know if they would do a good enough job. ChatGPT can hallucinate. Y'all know that, right? So it's when it spits up something that is not true. So, but it'll say it like it's a fact. So if you ask ChatGPT a question and it doesn't know the answer, there's a possibility that it could spit out an answer that is incorrect. So you have to be careful with AI. Okay. Ooh. He defended her publicly and then turned her in for something else entirely. I think he might have lost faith or trust in her. I think he did. I don't I believe it. Oh, you're loving your psychology course. I did the wrong one. Your psychology course. Yay. Good luck with that. Um if you ever have general questions, especially some of these lives where I'm just kind of just chatting with y'all, you can always ask me general questions and I will do what I can to answer. I hated my high school. And in high school, I took a psychology course and the teacher was going through a divorce. And all she did was talk about her husband the entire, like I learned nothing about psychology that entire class. I learned about her psychology and I have some thoughts, but like she had no boundaries because like we were seeing, I was a senior in high school. There might have been freshmen, and I don't know, but like I knew way too much about her we were not her therapist. like she needed to talk to somebody. And but that didn't change my mind about psychology. I still went to Virginia Tech and got my bachelor's in psychology. And then after that, but I got a BS, a bachelor's of science. So I learned nothing about therapy. Sometimes a BA, a bachelor's of arts, sometimes bachelor's programs will have where you can do a practicum or like where you can do an internship where you observe clinical practice or something. My bachelor's of science was very much focused on research. And so I have a PsyD, a doctorate of psychology. I believe Dr. G explains. I think he has a PsyD as well. Mine is in clinical psych. And I did my internship at Virginia Treatment Center for Children. It is a local psychiatric hospital for kids. And I did 6 months on their inpatient unit. And then I did 6 months in the community where I partnered with a school. And then I also worked at a community services board. It was like a community agency. Honestly, like a lot of people didn't make appointments. And so there wasn't a lot that I had to do. Um, I and then I saw outpatient clients at the center all year. That was my pre-doctoral internship. APA approved. Oh, senior in high school. Cool. Welcome, welcome. Nice. Yeah, so that's when I took psych. You can do a lot with a degree in psychology, and I have a video on that. With a bachelor's in psychology, people can go off and become a lawyer. They can, normally with a bachelor's in psych, you're going to be doing something else. Like normally you're going to do more school. And so, because there was a friend in my program at Tech, she went to law school. I think, did she go to Regent? Like, did we both go to the same school? We might have both went to the same school. I could be wrong. But she went to law school. I went on to get my doctorate in clinical psych. So That's what my Psych 101 class was like. Why do sometimes they have to be careful about the people that volunteer to teach the psychology course. My Psych 101 in college, it was fine. Like we went over the different theories and like Freud, I don't know, like we did all that stuff, but yeah. All right. I'm behind on the chat. I'm catching up. Okay, good. I think I'm caught up now. All right. Any last minute questions? So I thank each and every one of you. We were close to 11,000. Let me check. Let me check the count. Mm, I did not expect to find community here. So the way that I see you all, like we are a community, and it is my goal to make sure that that it's like helpful to you all, because I don't want to do this just because. And so let me let me show y'all this. I'm gonna share this tab. Why isn't it letting me? Okay, I'm not sharing right now. That's why. I was like, why can't I share this tab? Because I have to go down and click share. Okay, share screen. Y'all. So what happened? What had happened was so let's go the last year. Okay. So I started 2020. I was 2023. I was happy with my 1,000. Like there were 114 people that were a part. Maybe it was 1,105. That was December 2022. Okay. So January 2nd, 2023. Um, and I had the same, so I see your comments and I try to respond to them, if there's something to respond to. Sometimes people are just giving commentary and they don't really want a response, but if people ask a question, that's why I call this channel Dr. Barry Responds. Now, if somebody's asking like a personal question, I had someone recently leave a weird comment on one of my social media about their personal situation, and so I can't give people advice to their situation, but just in general, if people are like, "Do you think she might have been hallucinating, or do you think," and I can just talk about my opinions. So March is when I posted the Murdaugh video. All right? So May 2nd, okay? I think this was cuz yes, I'm pretty sure. I want to say I'll have to go back to the video. I'm almost positive May 2nd, a Murdaugh video, a whole bunch of people, because it went from 2,700 to 6,000. Like that was like in a few days. Okay. I will be honest, as a creator, when there are big jumps like that, it can get overwhelming because it's just like so that was the first, my channel hadn't seen that type of like exponential growth. And I just did a Murdaugh thing just because it was like, oh, I like this trial. Let's talk about it. And I figured out StreamYard and it was like, let's do this. And then a whole bunch of people, the algorithm found people that wanted to see that video. And okay. And then we're all the way up to here. And so once again, like I truly appreciate you all. I appreciate this community. Uh I wonder if you're catching up on replay. You might be catching up on replay. So I gave my thoughts earlier on that one. Everyone has a different style. If nobody else has covered a case and he covers one, I might take a look at it. I don't really learn much from the video, I guess. Sometimes I don't know. And I did watch one of his old videos before he kind of switched to his newer style, and I I enjoyed that video. But it seems like in the past year, he's shifted to this kind of to this, I don't know what to, he uses this humor to talk about things. And so um I don't have any mods. I have to get Nightbot. So I'll have to add Nightbot. I have a mod. I'm gonna add a mod soon. Like that. I don't have any moderators. I just got Nightbot. So I am gonna add some Scared of Nightbot. I don't blame you. I got in trouble in Emily D. Baker's chat for too many emojis. So if Nightbot I'm sorry, like my bad. My bad for Nightbot. I do have a my mom is a mod, but she normally lays back in the background and she doesn't say anything. So my mom will be in a stream and she won't say anything. Or I do have another moderator, T, but she's just somebody that I know. So it was the easiest way. If y'all have a better recommendation that's like free, I like free 99, and I can edit it. So if Nightbot is being mean about like, so I like the idea of no caps. Caps do feel like someone's yelling at you, and I have that processing thing. And like I said, I don't always. My glasses are to see far, but I need. You mod for 4 channels. That's awesome, Karen. If you would want, so Karen, if you would want to be a mod here, just DM me on Instagram. If you would want to be a mod here, okay, Karen. And there's no like, it's just if you're here and if something happens in the chat that you get to like that you can just help out with that. One time I got spammed. I don't know if y'all remember. Somebody was spamming the N-word 1 letter at a time, and they kept coming back and doing it over and over again. That was not fun. That was not fun. Yes. I found that out. I really like emojis. I really, really like emojis. And I did one too many emojis. Oh, so I'll have to I love emojis. Emojis are the best. I think for Emily, because I think she talks about some of her I think there's like a reading thing or I don't know. I think there's something where too many emojis mess things up for her. Uh all right. All right. Y'all, thank y'all for being here. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day. I hope y'all have a happy new year. Coming into the new year, I will schedule streams or I will like post the video. So I have no clue. Going into 2024, I have no clue. It'll be at least by that Saturday. That Saturday, what's the first Saturday in January? By next week. So I'll probably, let me see what I have planned. I don't have anything. I'll probably go live at 2 p.m. again next Saturday, and 2 p.m. Eastern, y'all's time. So I don't know what we're going to talk about. There will be some something to talk about by that time. But I was a mod on Facebook. Yes, yes. So if anyone is interested in being a moderator, it's volunteer. I am gonna do like a training, but just to say like, hey, like I don't mind people going back and forth. It's just for people to not be like mean or really it's for those spam moments because that spam one was hard. I was trying to talk and I had to keep shutting those down as they were coming in. And so I hope y'all have a good one and happy new year. I will see y'all in 2024.